Let's dive right into this explainer and decode a massive macroeconomic shift happening right under our noses. We're looking at the undeniable reality of AI job disruption, and more importantly, we're going to build a concrete blueprint for securing your financial future in the face of it. Because, let's be honest, when the landscape of work fundamentally changes, our approach to financial independence absolutely has to adapt. So here is our roadmap to future-proofing your life. We're covering the AI employment shock, building that $1 million foundation, navigating key retirement risks, stepping up to $2 million security, and finally exploring the $5 million purpose.
Section 1. The AI employment shock, the new macro reality. We have to start with the elephant in the boardroom. Companies aren't just asking how many people to hire anymore. They're genuinely wondering why hire humans at all when AI agents might do the exact same job faster and at an incredible scale.
The sheer scale of this disruption is honestly staggering. Recent data shows that 27% of workers in advanced economies, that's roughly 120 million people across 31 countries, are facing direct impacts from AI right now. And this isn't just about manufacturing jobs like we saw back in the late 70s. This is hitting workers across multiple sectors and individual white-collar careers. But here's what's really fascinating: the unexpected economics that tech companies are currently dealing with. Sure, AI doesn't demand a salary, and it certainly never negotiates for more vacation time, but it runs on massive cloud computing budgets and trillions of tiny pieces of text called tokens. Actually, many firms are finding that operating these powerful AI systems costs way more than they expected. It's kind of a massive plot twist, right? Replacing employees only to discover your virtual workforce needs an even bigger computing budget?
Despite those costs, though, the shift is undeniable. With around 90,000 jobs already lost this year alone, relying purely on your career for lifelong security is riskier than ever before. If your job involves analyzing spreadsheets or making predictable decisions, you're absolutely in the high-risk category. Meanwhile, hands-on, physical roles like construction or healthcare, those remain at low risk. Plus, in just a few short years, AI's success rate on complex, long tasks jumped from basically 0% all the way to 85 or 90%. The way we work is quite literally being rewritten.
Section 2. The $1 million foundation, securing your base. Let's start with the first milestone that millions of Americans dream about: reaching a $1 million retirement portfolio. It sounds like an incredible number, and honestly, it is. But here's what surprises most people. Having $1 million doesn't automatically mean you'll never have to think about money again. Instead, it marks the beginning of a whole new challenge, making sure your savings can actually support the lifestyle you've worked so hard to build.
Because the very first question every retiree asks is simple: how much income can I safely spend every year? Well, financial planners often use a conservative withdrawal strategy like the 4% rule. This allows retirees to take a small percentage from their investment portfolio each year, giving the rest of the money a chance to keep growing for 30 years. The goal here isn't maximizing income. The ultimate goal is making your money last.
Now, for many households, retirement income doesn't come from just one source. A 4% withdrawal on $1 million gives you $40,000. But investment withdrawals are often combined with Social Security benefits and other retirement income. If we add average dual Social Security benefits, a household has a solid $88,000 in annual gross income. When these pieces work together, many retirees discover they can maintain a highly comfortable lifestyle without ever earning another paycheck. That's exactly why planning matters way more than simply chasing a bigger portfolio.
But income is only one side of the equation. Taxes can make a much bigger difference than most people realize. A smart retirement strategy isn't just about earning more. It's about keeping more of what you've already earned. Between joint standard deductions, age-based bonuses, and a 0% long-term capital gains rate under a certain threshold, small tax decisions made over several years can potentially save you thousands of dollars throughout retirement. You can sometimes shield most of this money and literally pay zero federal taxes.
Still, the biggest challenge at the $1 million level isn't always financial, it's psychological. Even after retirement, many people continue checking investment balances every single week. Every market headline suddenly feels deeply personal. Every unexpected expense creates stress. Because even though they've retired from work, they haven't retired from worrying about money.
Section 3. Navigating key retirement risks. It's all about timing. Let's talk about the absolute biggest financial risk to that $1 million foundation.
Surprisingly, it's not inflation. It's not even market volatility by itself. It is the timing of market declines. This is known as sequence of returns risk. If your retirement begins during a major market correction, you might be forced to withdraw money to live on while your investments are temporarily down. That creates massive pressure on your portfolio during the exact years when it needs the most time to recover. It can honestly cripple your long-term plans.
Consider two investors. Both start with $1 million and face the exact same 15% decline. But investor 1 faces it in years 1 and 2, nearly wiping out their funds by year 18. Investor 2 takes the exact same hit in years 10 and 11 and still has over $400,000 left. That's why experienced retirees keep part of their savings in safer assets like cash or short-term investments. It gives them flexibility. Instead of selling during difficult markets, they have time to wait for a recovery. Sometimes, the smartest investment decision is simply giving yourself enough patience. The good news? Reaching $1 million already puts you far ahead of where many people ever get. It's an incredible achievement. It gives you a strong financial foundation, and for many families, that's exactly where true retirement begins.
Section 4. The $2 million security, from survival to risk management. Let's see how this blueprint completely evolves when we cross the $2 million mark. This is where the primary problem totally shifts away from survival math and your focus turns entirely to risk management.
With a $2 million portfolio, your 4% withdrawal jumps to $80,000. Add in your Social Security, and you're generating roughly $128,000 a year. Think about that for a second. Right there, regardless of whether you work or not, you're sitting quite comfortably in the top 15 to 20% of American households. But at this level, your tax strategy really has to change. You have to start strategizing around required minimum distributions, or RMDs, to avoid massive tax hits when you reach your mid-70s. This is where doing early Roth IRA conversions can literally save you high 5 figures. But perhaps the most surprising element? The biggest risk here actually becomes your own inability to spend the money you've saved. Seriously, if you don't intentionally adjust your spending, the default outcome is dying with $3 to $4 million just sitting in the bank. And that leads us to the psychology of $2 million. After 40 years of extreme saving and accumulating, it is incredibly difficult to flip the switch from a scarcity mindset to a spending mindset. You'll see retirees with millions in the bank, still flying economy, eating frozen meals, and driving 12-year-old cars. Not because they have to, but because they simply cannot turn off that accumulation mode to actually enjoy their hard-earned freedom.
As the research points out, people at every single wealth level report needing roughly double what they currently have to feel secure. It's the ultimate psychological trap, because a rising bank account balance was a reflection of winning for 40 years. Drawing that balance down feels deeply uncomfortable. So, even with immense security, a lot of people just move the goalpost. They decide they now need $3 or $4 or $5 million to feel safe, endlessly obsessing over accumulation.
Section 5. The $5 million purpose, identity, and legacy. Finally, let's explore this top tier, because at $5 million, the math problem vanishes entirely, and the challenges become purely behavioral and legacy-driven.
At this level, a safe withdrawal rate gives you $200,000 a year. Add Social Security, and you're looking at a gross income of around $250,000 annually. This means emergency expenses are easily absorbed. A $30,000 unexpected health bill? It's just a minor blip, not a disaster. Infinite financial security is essentially guaranteed here, and frankly, it takes active effort not to die richer than you started.
Taxes at this tier aren't really about your personal income anymore. They're mostly about what happens after you're gone. With a $15 million federal estate tax exemption, you can pass wealth to your kids essentially tax-free, and a step up in basis protects them from massive capital gains. Because you have way more money than you'll ever need, your biggest tangible risk shifts to managing generational wealth and avoiding becoming a target for financial scams, as people realize you have massive capital to deploy.
But here is the ultimate plot twist. Money is no longer your biggest concern. The real risk is a profound shift in identity. Our careers, even the ones currently being threatened by AI, provide a built-in purpose. Without that daily structure, having absolute wealth and unlimited freedom can actually become psychologically overwhelming. You might see your stress levels rise simply because you've lost your direction and don't know what to do with yourself.
So as you look at the AI-driven changes happening in the world and work to build your own financial blueprint, whether your goal is 1 million or 5 million, I want to leave you with this final thought. Once you've crossed the finish line and secured your future, what is all this money actually for? Because the happiest, most financially successful people aren't just the ones with the biggest portfolios. They're the ones who figured out the answer to that exact question long before they ever retired. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.